And hello, everyone. Welcome to our power scanning session. It is June 14th, 2025, and you may see it behind me. Everything is white. Yes, we have a brand new background. It's not fully decorated yet, but we just moved offices. We're still in the same building, but just moved one floor up to a nicer, more spacious office. And yeah, this is where I will be greeting you from now on. And if you're wondering, where am I greeting you from? What? We are in Montreal, beautiful Montreal here in Eastern Canada. It's an amazing weekend. It's Formula One weekend here in Montreal. It's yeah, a bit of craziness in the city. Yeah, big cars. I can hear them in my office. We're right downtown all the time. The race is tomorrow. Yeah, a big party tonight in the city. So it's, yeah, one of the most exciting weekends here in Montreal. But before we get into today's session, where are you guys calling in from? Please put your location into the Q&A box. Let's see, who do we have in the room today? Yes, Aubrey is there. Aubrey from Hot Cyprus. He told me it's unusually hot. You know that's even possible for Cyprus. But I will test it myself because I will be going to the IFX conference next week, which happens to be in Cyprus. And I'll make sure to also meet up with Aubrey while I'm there. So I'm going to test the weather there firsthand. Who else do we have? Thomas from the Black Forest in Germany. Hey, Thomas, how are you? Werner from Frankfurt. Hey, Werner. Claudio from Woodbridge, New Jersey. Hey, Claudio. Claudio, how's it going? Art from Frederick, Maryland. All right. Hey, Art, good to see you again. Faith from Palm Springs, California. Suzanne from Dresden, Germany. I've been to Dresden. It's a beautiful city in Germany. Frank from Den Haag, of course. I knew that. From the Netherlands. Christian from Leeds in Germany, another German. And we also have Srinivas from British Columbia in Canada. Perfect. Well, thanks, guys. Thanks for sharing your location. And let's get started with today's session. Uh, as you may know, today and every week, we are going to be on the lookout for the most interesting swing trades for the week ahead. So this is not about day trading. This is not necessarily about longer term investing. It's about swing trading. And the approximate duration, give or take, is between 2 and 20 weeks. And as you will see, and hopefully at the end of this webinar, you will be doing it yourself. You can find interesting trade setups in less than 13 minutes. And we call this the 30 minutes Sunday strategy. You know, as the market is closed on the weekend, spend perhaps a couple of minutes, use our scanner to find interesting swing trading setups. And then when the market opens, perhaps you're going to execute on some of them. And, you know, we've designed the scanner, which I'm going to be showing you in just a bit, for efficiency, which makes it very easy and very fast to find what you are looking for. All right. So, but before we getting into this, let me quickly introduce ourselves properly. So we are tradingindicators.com. My name is Daniel. I'm the guy here on the left-hand side. And about 10 years ago, together with Homer here in the middle, we have created Trading Indicators. And wow, what a journey it has been. So over the years, we've built almost 1,000 trading indicators for clients all over the world. We have created trading dashboards, trading scanners, fully automated strategies, and many different trading tools. Most of what we do is based on what is called technical analysis, which is basically a mathematical analysis of your price chart. We believe that fundamentals are almost immediately priced in. And by analyzing your price chart from a technical point of view, you will indirectly also take into account fundamental information. We also believe that trading should be simple. And in fact, trading can be simple, but you need to use the right tools and you need to know what to look for. And in this webinar, I'm going to share with you one tool that we are using all the time to find swing trades. And once you master that, you'll see this will only take a couple of minutes after the market closes every day to find what you are looking for. All right, and one more thing, if you have any questions, please don't be shy, don't hold back, put your questions into the Q&A box and I will get to those as we proceed. Okay. Now, a quick reminder also that trading does contain substantial risk and therefore is not suited for every investor. If you trade, make sure to only use risk capital, which is money that you actually can afford to lose. When it comes to backtest performance or hypothetical performance, keep in mind that this is not necessarily indicative of future performance, and any trade ideas and strategies and setups shared and discussed in this webinar should not be construed as trade advice. These are for educational purposes only. All right. Now, a couple of housekeeping items. First off, if you are a user of our dashboard and perhaps have some questions or perhaps are a bit overwhelmed with all the different features and bells and whistles that we have integrated into the dashboard, no problem. Check out our bootcamp. It's a 2-hour bootcamp where we discuss and explain every single feature from the ground up, step by step. So check it out here. This is completely free. I'm going to put it into the chat. Tradingindicators.com/bootcamp. I can find the chat window. There we go. All right. So that's number one. And of course, also, we have a Discord channel. Not sure if you know this already. Perhaps you do because you're joining us week after week. And I'm repeating this week after week, but it's available completely for free at tradingindicators.com/Discord. Let me just type this in here. Okay, 1 second. Discord. Of course, it's not so easy to type and talk at the same time, but I'm going to try anyways. Tradingindicators.com. All right. Oh boy. I should have prepared this thing beforehand. /Discord. There we go. I hope I didn't misspell it. There we go. Okay, that's that one. And just to give you a quick taste of what our Discord channel looks like, it looks like this. I'm going to go to open Discord here. All right. And once this opens, you're going to see our trading indicators icon on the left-hand side. And in there, you have one channel where the most action is happening, which is Talk Trading here. Where our users like David or Gus, and myself and Christian, they're all posting chart setups. And I'd like to point out one thing, which was really awesome, I thought. David S. from Frankfurt, I believe, he did a lot of backtesting, manual backtesting using our Liquidity View setups, and he did this over a couple of months, I believe, and these are all the trades which hypothetically would have been taken in his backtest approach using our dashboard, using our scanner, and at the end it was an overwhelming performance of making a profit of $5,250, and he only was risking $100 per trade. So this was pretty cool and testament, hopefully, that what we're doing in these scanning sessions actually has merit, and you are able to find interesting setups using our dashboard. So, please check this out on our Discord channel for additional details. Now, another thing, if you don't have access to our dashboard yet, it would be great if you would follow along interactively, because then you can just replicate the same setups that I will be using, the same screeners, the same indicators, and so forth. And for those of you who don't have access yet, you can sign up right now. It's completely free. You get 1 week of a free trial here at tradingindicators.com/view. I'll just put this into the chat as well. And once you sign up, you will get instant access. So this will take perhaps 1 minute, maybe even less, until you can actually log into the dashboard and replicate the exact same setups that we will be going through. We also have an ebook. I think most of you probably already have access to this ebook, but you can download it now at tradingindicators.com/power-of-3. Just put a dash in the middle. I'm not going to type this in now. This is too long for me, but tradingindicators.com/power-of-3 for the free ebook. Also, and last but not least, if you have any feedback in terms of suggestions or potential improvements or anything that could be changed or adjusted, don't hold back. Put those into the Q&A box or send me an email, and I will take this all into account for our future versions of the dashboard. Just one word about this. We have started this dashboard project about 1 year ago. So we just had our 1-year anniversary. And again, thanks guys for being with us all along the way for the entire year. So thanks, kudos guys, for joining us this early on. Your feedback has driven a lot of innovations in the dashboard. You can see some of those here. And we've come a long way, but this is by far not the end of our journey. We have so many ideas about like seasonality, gap trading, other things with regard to options trading, for example, which will be implemented later on this year. And this is all thanks to your feedback. So thanks, guys, for this. All right. Now, let's start with our market review. What has happened in the last week? Let's check it out. So I'm going to go over to our dashboard. There we go. And let's start with the SPY. All right. So the S&P 500 ETF. There we go. And let's see what we see. Well, I don't think you need to to have a PhD in mathematics to see where we are right now. We are right below this area here. You can see this little green box, which is our resistance level. And price is already retraced a little bit, which could be a telltale sign that, hey, we may see a bounce in the SPY off this resistance level. Resistance is called resistance for a reason, because price may have difficulties to break through this level. So we're just nearing this level here. We saw a down day yesterday, mainly driven by political news. And let's see what happens. But I predict or anticipate that we may need several tries to break this level, this resistance level. It's like, having an ice pick in your hand and, chipping away step by step. It may take some time to break the strong resistance level. But if we do, I foresee a nice follow through afterwards. But it may take us several tries. So would I go long now, SPY? Probably not. We may see a bit of back and forth, maybe even a retracement back to this blue line here, which used to be a support level. You can see it here. So this may take a couple of attempts to break this level. It's very similar to the QQQs. If I go over here, also on the QQQs, we were grinding higher. And it was really a grind for the most part of last week, except, of course, for yesterday. But this was driven by political news right into this resistance level. We even got a bit closer, and then we had the bounce off this level. And it's the same outlook for the QQQs. Also here, we may see, or we may need several tries to break this level. So would I go long here? Probably not. I would wait perhaps for a retracement. If we do, maybe we're going to go back all the way to this level here. This former resistance level now acting as support, or even to this lower gap here, which is still in the picture and might get tested. You never know. So that is still a possibility. So entering now, I think it's dangerous because we may bounce off this level. And how these bounces could look like, and what I mean that price may need several attempts to break strong resistance, we will see in the Bitcoin price. Look at what happened in Bitcoin, BTC. What do we see here? Well, I don't know. We need multiple tries to break this level. So we had one try already. It failed, went down again. Another try this week, went right into this resistance level, bounced off again. And now we are coiling up potentially for a third attempt to break this level. And we may even bounce one more time. But as I said, it's like using an ice pick. Step by step, you will be chipping away the power of this resistance level. And eventually it will be broken. It's just, in my book, just a matter of time. But would I enter now? Probably not. I would wait. Perhaps for a deeper retracement. I think actually Bitcoin went down a little bit deeper this morning. Yeah, we can see it here, all the way down to 104,000. So we're right around this level here. I think it might still go back to this MA rush line here, and then potentially might even take a long trade this time for a quick scalp or short-term trade, anticipating that, hey, we're going to make another run at this resistance level. All right. Talking about the power of levels and the power of support and resistance, let's see what happened in oil. Oh boy. Wow, what a bounce it was. Look at this. So I had these blue lines. You can see them here. I drew this a while back, which show you oil has been ranging for years now. It's been over 2 years where oil has been alternating between 83 and 63 or 60 around here. And every time it approached one of these extreme levels, we saw a sharp bounce from 83 down to 63, up, down, up, down, down, up again now. Wow, what a bounce this has been. So what's going to happen next with oil? Well, you can take a guess what my anticipation will be. Well, I'm going to wait. Of course, at this crazy volatility, and we may see some retracement, but I'm going to wait for oil to approach the 83 level in case of the United States Oil Fund here, and then potentially look for some put options or even short oil outright at this level. Of course, if it's going to be an option trade, then you always have to see that the volatility is not too big, which would make the contracts very high. So maybe wait for things to calm down a little bit, and then a little bit, and then go in for a short trade in oil. Maybe even wait for initial signs that, hey, we're going to actually see this bounce happening. So yeah, crazy price action in oil. We are nearing now the other extreme, and it is not unthinkable to see another bounce off this level to the lower regions in between support and resistance. All right, so that was them. I'm going to quickly look at if there are some questions. Today, Niklas will be a bit late today. He told me he's not there yet. So I'm going to have to look at these questions myself if there are some questions coming in. All right. Now, moving on. What about gold? Okay, so gold, I don't know if you noticed, but also gold jumped up yesterday quite a bit. And where did it jump to? Well, no big surprise, right to this strong resistance level. I couldn't break it. We didn't make all-time highs, but we are very close to making all-time highs in gold, which would be this bar here. This bar here, yesterday's bar, almost came to that level and retraced a little bit. We do have two gaps just below. Gold right here. You can see this gap here and this gap here. I would not be surprised if there will be an attempt made to close these gaps, and then we'll see potentially another attempt to break this resistance level. Let's see where the market opens on Monday. If we jump above this level, well, then all bets are off. We may see oil pushing much, much higher. But if we open a bit below, I would imagine that we will see an attempt to fill these gaps, or at least test these gaps below. And this is my outlook on gold. What about Eli Lilly? Well, and I'm showing you this example for a reason, because we're going to see a stock later on, which has a very similar setup, similar to what Eli Lilly had 2 weeks ago. So let's see what that setup was. All right. So this is Eli. Let me just zoom out a little bit. And what we saw here is Eli Lilly. Let me just zoom out a little bit more. It really pushed higher in quick succession since March 2023. A big move up, a rapid move up. And since then, since the all-time highs, we have been in a lengthy consolidation phase. You can see it here. Prices are ranging between the extreme here at 960 around, or 970, and down here at 700. So very rangy. And, since this is a bullish stock, what I really like about whenever price approaches the lower range is that, hey, you can bet on the fact that we're going to bounce off this level towards the middle or towards the resistance level. And that's exactly what we've done a few times. I know, Aubrey, you've been taking this trade, I think, at least once when price approached the lower level. And we saw the same thing here 2 weeks ago. Price was once again down here at the support level. And look at this beautiful bounce of support towards the middle, in between support and resistance. So please keep this in mind, because soon, when we start our scanning process, we will see a very similar symbol, which almost looks identically in terms of a strong uptrend and now a consolidation phase. And we ended up at the lower bounce of it. So please keep this pattern in mind. All right. Now, let me talk about, let me go back to my slides, actually. So I don't want to beat around the bush for too long. So let's start our scanning process. And once again, what we will do is you follow a very simple process. We're going to focus on one setup at a time. We're going to create a hot list based on what we find. And then at the end, we're going to go through all these stocks in our hot list to pick the nicest ones within that list. So what are these setups that we're going to be looking for? What we're going to call the power of 3+, because we have 3 key setups, which may or may not be combined with a healthy pullback situation as per our trend radar indicator. What's a healthy pullback, you may ask? Let me give you an example. Look at this chart here. You don't need to have a PhD in mathematics to see, hey, this is a stock which is trending upwards. That's a nice upwards trend, but of course you can see that it is not going up in a straight line. It's not like the arrow up here. Prices go up, then go down a little bit, then up again and down. And over time, of course, prices are rising. But this is the definition of a strong trend, where prices are rising over time. And it's been, continuing for quite some time. But of course, every once in a while, prices are pulling back. And this is what we call a healthy pullback. You can see the situation here. Price went back to here, or back to here, or here, and so forth. And the beauty about these pullbacks is that we, first of all, can scan for them using our trend radar indicator and scan. And secondly, these are great opportunities for you as a trend trader to enter into the trend direction. Why is this great? Because you're going to get in at a cheaper price, and chances are your stop loss is going to be closer by as well, because you're entering near the lower end of the trend channel, not the upper end. So you don't want to enter up here where things are extended, because then a pullback may be coming up. You want to wait for the pullback and then enter into the trend direction. Now, if you are able to time this pullback, you can see it here. This is our pullback. If you can time this with the occurrence of a nearby support level, then you have the trifecta situation where we have a healthy pullback in a long trend. We are trending upwards and we are near a technical level. Three things are coming together, and these can be very powerful traits. All right, so how can we find them? Well, let me go back to our dashboard. I'm going to clear out our scanner, and you can see we're scanning through roughly 5,000 stocks. So lots of symbols are in here. And now let's enter our criteria. So criteria number one was, all right, we want to be in a strong uptrend. Now, how do we know whether we are in a strong uptrend or downtrend? Well, we're going to use our trend radar indicator for this. So for example, well, this is actually an interesting one too. I just randomly picked on this one. Look what our trend radar indicator is showing. Trend radar, sorry. I mean, rush indicator is showing us here. A bull label. So the last label, it was printing. Before this, we had bear. But no, the last one was a bull label. That means at this point on, or from this point on, from November 2022, this stock has been in an uptrend. And just for your reference, this indicator, this MA Rush indicator, which prints these labels on the chart, is designed to be as conservatively as possible, meaning it will stick to a trend direction for as long as possible, even if there are pullbacks, like, we're bullish, you're pulling back a bit, pulling back, even massive pullbacks like this indicator will stick to it. Because there are still signs that, hey, we are still in a bullish trend, and this trend has a chance of continuing into the long direction. Only if there are overwhelming signs that, hey, now this trend really has come to an end, it will change its mind and print a bearish label. So in this case here, you can see, all right, we are bullish. And by coincidence, we are also right next to a support level. You can see that here in our scanner, it's a long bounce situation. Actually, quite a nice setup for potential long trade after this big pullback. This level was tested here and here and here, and now again. Well, potentially a good. Actually, you know what? I'm going to add this to our hot list. I found this. I stumbled upon this kind of accidentally, but it looks good. So why not add it to our hot list? I'm going to create a new watch list. Setups, colon 2025 06 14. Okay, it's created, and let's add this one to our list real quick. There we go. All right, done. Okay, so this was so where was I? Oh yeah, we wanted to scan for stocks which are in a long uptrend. How can we do this? Well, and my point was we're going to use our MA Rush scan, which is based on the MA Rush indicator, which is our trend indicator. So we're going to go over to our scanner here, and under MA Rush, we're going to select bullish. And look what happened. From our 4,900 symbols, 2,085 are currently in a strong bullish trend. Perfect. Very good. So this is done. Step number two, let's see which of these stocks are actually right now in a pullback situation. As per our trend radar indicator, remember the pullback I had shown you here? This one here, where the first 4 rows of trend radar are red, but the last row, which is our longest trend as per this indicator, is still green. We call this a healthy pullback. So how can we scan for this? Well, we're going to use this pullback column here, which is based on our trend radar indicator, and we will select level 4. Bang. Now we're down to 225 stocks. Wow, that's pretty cool. And guess what? If I now sort by trend duration, which is something I like to do, guess what comes up really early here? Arthur J. Gallagher. Remember this stock? It's been on our radar many, many times, and I think we had some users who took these trades a few times. Most notably, on April 27, we caught a long trade of Arthur J. Gallagher at 322. This is April. And if I open this up, let's check it out. Let's check it out here. All right. Arthur J. Gallagher. Yeah, pulled back. Look at trend radar down here. And let me make this a bit bigger. Look at trend radar. Level 4 pullback. And in recent history, every such pullback almost immediately was bought off right afterwards, and the trend continued. So I believe this, in fact, could be a really interesting opportunity to enter long into this setup. Maybe even scale in. Of course, the support level is still a bit further away. If you look at our setup here, it's in a magnet zone, meaning we are still somewhat in the middle, in between support and resistance, but of course closer to the support level. So yeah, in fact, let me add this one too. to our hot list. I love seeing these pullbacks in the stock, especially after a strong uptrend. This may continue for a while, this consolidation phase. But every time the stock comes closer to the lower range of this parallel channel, this could be an interesting opportunity to enter into this long trade. All right, so this is Arthur J. Gallagher. Another one that comes up is a German stock, Deutsche Telekom. I can see it here also here. Prices have pulled back. It's a long uptrending stock, but recently, prices really pulled back with a nice gap here, which might get tested. And we are also here in a level 4 pullback. And also for this stock, look, in recent history, every single pullback has been almost immediately afterwards bought up, and the price continued to rise. But these are the situations which I like to focus on, where stocks are in a really steady uptrend, but currently have corrected to the downside, which gives us a much better entry price with a much closer stop loss. Less risk on the table, and you get cheaper to this. You get the stock a bit cheaper. All right, so this was step number 2. You can see 225 symbols out of our 5,000 symbols are currently in an uptrend and have a level 4 pullback. But we want to search for one more situation. We want the stock to also be near, even closer than this stock here, near a support level. How do we do this? Well, we're going to use our Liquidity IQ setup column here and select long bounce. Remember I talked about the bounce setup? This is exactly where this name comes from. Long bounce means we are near support level and we may bounce off to the long side. All right, so what do we see here? Only 7 stocks survived this very stringent scanning criterion. The first one that comes up, and it's actually a stock I bought yesterday, is Sprouts Farmers Market. Look at this one. What has happened here? A stock which is in a very nice and steady uptrend. And we made all-time highs on June 3rd. Actually, you can see it here. We barely made all-time highs. We had a liquidity capture and price then bounced off this resistance level. Of course, this can happen. Resistance is called resistance for a reason. And now the pullback down to this support level. And I think this can be a really nice opportunity to potentially enter into the long direction. Now that prices have pulled back a little bit. We can see it also here. Trend radar is showing us a level 4 pullback. So 3 things coming together. And in fact, I'm going to add this stock also to our hot list. Oops, there we go. It's a not very nice one. I pulled the trigger yesterday on this one and I saw this bar coming down. And in fact, this setup was there already yesterday. It says here long bounce too. So if you had run your scan yesterday morning before the market opened, that's what I did. I saw this one as long bounce 1 because the number 2 here means that this setup, the long bounce setup, has been there already for the last 2 bars. So Friday's bar and on Thursday night, this setup was already there as well. When we pulled down to this level. So I found it and I really like this one. I love the pullback. It's such a steady uptrend. From a technical point of view, it's an interesting, it's a really nice, smooth uptrend. It's not too erratic. Look at this one here, how smooth this one is going up. Of course, there are pullbacks. It's very normal. This pullback may go even a bit deeper. That's fine with me because I believe that this stock will continue its uptrend eventually. All right. Okay, so that's an interesting one. The second one is this one. Münchner Rückversicherungsgesellschaft. All right, a German stock, quite similar. And actually, here I want to show you another point. So probably you would not trade, or most of you would not trade the stock because you don't really trade the German market unless you, of course, are German. But the point I'm trying to make is about diversification. So, okay, let's say I like the setup. It looks nice. You made all-time highs, and now the pullback back to support. It's a level 4 pullback. There's nothing wrong with the setup. It's definitely a good opportunity to potentially enter long here. Okay, keep this one in mind. And now let's look at the second one here. As it happens to be also a German stock, Allianz, that's how it's called. And look at how this stock looks like. And you may say, hey, Danny, did you even change charts? This almost looks like exactly the same thing. All-time highs recently, then the pullback to support. Yes, it is pretty much identical to the previous setup. Now, why do I say this? Because without paying attention to these things and without paying attention, what is the sector of the stock? What is the country of the stock? Let me just quickly put the country in here too. Without paying attention to these things, you may have just entered twice into the setup. But if you take a closer look, I'm going to show you this right now. You can say, or you can easily tell that these two stocks are very much correlated. So I'm just overlaying the price of the second stock on this chart here. And let me just quickly hide the other indicators just so you can see a bit closer how correlated these stocks are. I mean, this is actually quite amazing how the price basically follows one each other. Of course, it's not perfect, and but pretty much it is almost the exact same pattern. So my point is, should you enter or pull the trigger on both these setups? Technically speaking, they're completely valid. My answer is no, you should not, because they're super correlated and you would just double down on your risk. So I would not do it because when one stock rises, the other one rises, which would be nice. But of course, if this doesn't work out, there's no guarantees in trading. If this bounce setup, if this support zone does not hold, well, then, oops, it's a bit bigger, then we're doubling down. We're losing on both trades. And this is exactly what you don't want to do. Not sure why this is not scaling, but it doesn't matter. You don't want to being down on both stocks. Yeah, so always pay attention. This is very easy for our dashboard that you don't double down on basically two very correlated stocks. I like this one here. They're both based out of Germany in the financial services industry, and in terms of industry group, also pretty much the same thing. Insurance, diversified and insurance, reinsurance, whatever the difference might be in those two categories. All right. So nonetheless, let's move on. This was our trifecta trade. Yeah, the best one is this one here, Sprouts Farmers Market. I really like it. Steady uptrend, nice pullback to support, and a pullback as per our trend radar indicator. So three things are coming together. And in fact, you know what? I'm going to add these two German stocks also to our list because I'm curious what's going to happen to them. But for sure, I will not go long both at the same time. All right. So sometimes, however, and you're going to see this now, it is too stringent to also require trend radar to have a level 4 pullback on entry, because you can see it here. We have only 7 stocks which qualified out of our 5,000. That's very selective. Let's loosen our criteria a little bit now. And let me just quickly go to my 1 second. And let's remove this level 4 pullback criteria. So I'm doing this, and now we have 94 stocks to work with. Okay, that's cool. And the first stock is this one here, and you can see it here. I'm sorted by trend duration, so I'm seeing versus stocks which have been in an uptrend for the longest. The first one that's coming up is AirLi. Look at this one. And now, please remember how Eli Lilly looked like earlier in this webinar. What do we see here? Well, just quickly move this a little bit into the focus. All right. I mean, it's not, of course, not identical, but similar. Huge move up. You can see it here. Very rapid move up, but now a lengthy consolidation phase. You can see it here. Somewhat similar to what Eli is going through. Also there, we had a huge move up, and we are in a consolidation phase. And every time in that lengthy consolidation phase, and this may take a year to resolve. It's definitely possible. So we've been in this phase since January. Now it's June. We're already half year in. This may take another 6 months to resolve. And every time the price approaches the lower end of this extreme, I think these can be very interesting long bounce opportunities. So I'm going to add this stock also to our watch list. All right. So RLI, Coke. Coca-Cola consolidated. We had it last week in our scan already. Yeah. What do we see here? Well, it's pretty much the same thing. Last week also we saw, hey, this stock is near support level. We had a bit of a bounce. It's still around this area. Definitely an interesting one. I'm not really sure what the difference is to the actual Coca-Cola stock, but it seems to be somewhat related. I'm also going to add this one once again to our hot list. And one more we have here. And you can see how easy it is to find these stocks. Aflac Incorporated. All right. And I believe this is what we drew last week, where we said, hey, let's wait for the stock to come down a bit closer to our entry zone here. Well, this is definitely what happened. We came down all the way to the entry zone. Thursday's bar opened right in that zone. This could have been an interesting long trade opportunity as well. And the pattern, once again, Honestly, it's a steep incline and then a lengthy consolidation phase. And every time the price comes down to the lower end, yeah, this can be an interesting long opportunity. Why would I only take the lower end and not the other extreme here? Well, because this stock is very bullish. Look at this one, bullish for 1,113 trading days. And I don't really want to go against this long-term uptrend. I want to be with the trend because this is an additional check mark in my portfolio or my checklist. And yeah, I think it comes together here. So we are trending up. The trend is very steady. We've been in this trend for years now, for 1,113 trading days, and we are near support. I think this can be a very interesting, yeah, long opportunity. Next one, Tanger Inc. In real estate, it's a REIT. Okay, what do we see here? Well, long-term trending stock, now in a lengthy consolidation phase. Yeah, right at this support level. So also this one could be, once again, an interesting long entry opportunity if we believe that, hey, this support level is going to hold and we're going to see a bounce towards the upside. Of course, here, if you look a bit closer, which makes me think maybe we should be a bit more careful with this one, is that we do have a bit of a downwards channel here. You can see it. Yeah, it's kind of going downwards. If this grind downwards continues, you're making lower highs, somewhat a little bit lower lows at least. Well, if you don't count this one, you may want to be a bit careful. This could easily also break, and we're going to go to this level as our last resort. Something just to consider for this particular one. Nonetheless, I'm going to add it also to our hot list. All right, perfect. So I'm going to see if there are any questions. I'm going to drag this in here. All right. Lenny wants to know. Lenny says there was a previous attempt on the SPY and it broke down in February after 3 times. Oh, let's check it out. All right, let's check out the SPY. We had it earlier on in this webinar. What are we going to see in February? This one, I believe. Is that the one? Yes. Yeah, it could be. I mean, there was some, of course, these deeper corrections are, of course, possible. And it shows you, hey, this resistance level has merit, there's value to it. Prices couldn't break it, and then we had this big bounce off. This is also why I said exactly I would not go long right now at the SPY because we have this strong resistance level here, and we may see a bounce. Whether it's going to be a bounce this deep, I hope not. But could this gap be filled here on the SPY? Absolutely. It's definitely in the cards, even though we're further away now. But sometimes these gap fills, they take weeks and months to come. All right. Can you describe why you have an IQ chart and a life chart? Yes. A good question. Now, and why are our indicators not on the life chart? So this life chart basically is an embedded trading view chart using trading views data. When it comes to trading views, so if you for example, go to Bitcoin, which is currently open, of course, the SPY is closed, but the Bitcoin market is open. You can see this little green dot here. Of course, it trades 24/7 every single day, 24 hours. The market is open. You can see prices are changing even on the weekend. If you look at this one, price chart here, it's really a live chart. And the question is, why don't we put our indicators on this live chart? And the answer is, I would love to do it. I really would love to do it. We cannot, unfortunately. TradingView does not allow us to put custom indicators on their embedded charts, which use TradingView data. So the data you see here, on these different time frames, that's TradingView data. If we want to use that TradingView data, then we cannot put custom indicators on it. That's the constraint that comes with TradingView. And when we go to the live chart, this one here, so to the IQ chart, then we are no longer using TradingView data. This is our own data. It's end of day data. It's what the scanner is based on. And if we use our own data, then we can put whatever we want onto the chart. That's kind of the the interrelationship between the IQ chart and the live chart. So that's nothing we can do. I'd love to put the indicators on this one, but we can't, unfortunately. But of course, what you can do, you can use the actual TradingView platform. If you have purchased the standalone versions of our indicators, then of course you can put them on any live chart as well on the actual TradingView platform. All right, so that was that question. Let me move on to the next one. Where did my question window go? 1 second, guys. It's gone. There we go. Okay, there we go. Okay. Christian, AAON, it's not optionable. That's possible. Yeah, I need to check it out. And even if, let me just quickly go to our dashboard. How can we see whether a stock is optionable? Well, we have this column here. You see this one here? So AAON is, yeah, it's not optionable. But maybe I should quickly explain what this column actually means. So, because the meaning is a bit more complex. This column, let me just take this out here. This column here shows you whether this stock has an options chain, yes or no. If the stock does not have an options chain, you will never see a check mark. But having an options chain is not the only condition for this check mark to come in, because this criteria, this column here, also looks for how liquid the options chain is, how wide the spreads are. And only if they are narrowish and there's some liquidity there, then the check mark is being set. Because, if you have an options chain which is super liquid with huge spreads, it's not really tradable. So you don't want to, and not for our purposes at least. So this optional column, has a bit more complex logic to it. Why did the indicator take so long on losing trend? Yeah, Johnny, I said this in the beginning. Our MA rush indicator is designed, you can see this here very nicely on this chart. It's designed to stick to a trend for as long as possible. So even if there are corrections along the way, the indicator will stick with it until there are overwhelmingly many signs that, hey, we are now really entering into a bearish trend. So far, this is not the case, but just keep in mind, this MA rush indicator is for the macro trend. It's really for the long-term trend. And of course, this one does not change every day. It will take a while and many factors to come together for this one to change. If you want to see a little bit more of a shorter term view, you can use our trend radar indicator down here to look for shorter term trend reversals. What you can do, for example, and this is also explained in our bootcamp, you can enable a column called R-score, which is based on our trend radar indicator. And here the rule of thumb is, first off, it's a score based on the short-term trend. So the last 50 days, 2 months, something like that. The more negative or red the score is, the more bearish we are, and the higher it is. So this one ranges between red 400 and let's say green 400. So this stock here, I can see right away with a red score of 317, it's going to be very bearish in the short term. I click on it, and once this opens up, bang, see how bearish this is? It really is going down quite a bit in recent history. This one here, yeah, Bioventus, 368. So in the short-term history, look at how things are going down. That's a really strong short-term downtrend. And vice versa. If I go, let's say, I want to see stocks only with a strong uptrend recently. This one here, South Korea iShares, 317. In recent history, very bullish. Is it possible to have a macro trend bearish and be short-term bullish? Absolutely. This is an example here. Bearish as per trend radar, but quite bullish as per our trend radar indicator. But I'll tell you, if this continues, of course, in this direction, this trend radar will not be bearish for much longer. So this is kind of how the interplay works. All right. Aubrey, back. Oh, he says he's here back in a Arthur J. Gallagher. Awesome. Yeah, what a beast this stock has been. Thanks for that. Perfect. All right, so let's now move on to our next setup. So what is the next setup? And in fact, I'm gonna detour a little bit. Normally, we talk about the zone break setup and the zone break retrace setup, but today let's change it up a little bit because there's some merit to it as well. Who of you remembers what the magnet zone setup was? You may remember it because we used to have it or discuss it quite often in our trading room. So a magnet zone is something you can see in the scanner here in our liquidity IQ column here. Let's see this one here. I just randomly picked the stock, magnet zone 6. It's not the most pretty one. It basically means that that price is somewhat in the middle, in between support and resistance. It's not at either extreme. It's somewhat in the middle. That's when we have what we call a magnet zone. Why do we call it magnet zone? Well, because price is oftentimes drawn like a magnet to the upper extreme, which is resistance, or the lower extreme, which is support. And that's what we call this magnet zone. So in other words, prices will probably not be in this price area for much longer. It's going to be magnetically drawn to either the upper end or the lower end. Is this zone tradable? Yes, absolutely. Let me show you one way how I would trade it. So first off, we're going to filter for only magnet zone setups. We're going to use our Liquidity IQ setup column and choose magnet zone. All right. Now we can see, okay, of our 5,000 stocks, 1,400 are somewhat in the middle, in between support and resistance. Okay, fair enough. Quite a number of stocks. But we're going to continue. So let's say we want to enter into a stock trade. And the equity market on average is rather rising than falling. So let's only focus on the bullish trades. So let's filter by trend direction. So if you want to go long, ideally, the overarching trend is also a bullish one. So we're going to select bullish here. And once I do this, you can see, okay, now we're down to 613 stocks. Great. Let me give you an example. Eli Lilly. All right. Right in the middle, in between support and resistance. Would I enter right now into a long trade? Maybe, but perhaps not. Why? Because our reward to risk ratio is not the best anymore. Let's say we wanted to place this trade where we would need to put our stop loss and where would we need to put our target. Well, I believe it would make sense. Of course, there's always some room for refinement, but it would make sense to give this trade a bit of room. All right, it may come down a little bit further. So I would put my stop below this support level. It's quite far away. But, ideally you would put your stop here, or even maybe below the swing low, if you really want to give it a lot of trade, a lot of space. Where would be my target? Well, we have our resistance zone here. So I think it would be wise to place our target just below this resistance level. Why below? Because we may bounce off from it. We don't want to give away our profits. All right. So this would be our target. And if we do the math, we can see, okay, if we get stopped out, we would lose 15%. You can see it here. And if we hit our target, we would make 7%, 7.5%. That's not the best reward to risk ratio. In fact, if you're interested in knowing what the reward to risk ratio is, check this out here. We have a column for this. Long RR, this is for a long trade, 0.48. Not the best reward to risk ratio. Wouldn't it be better to find a reward to risk ratio where we actually can win more than we can lose? Yes, that would be better. So let's see. This one here, 0.28, not the best. German telecommunication, 1.52. Let's check out this stock. All right. What do we see here? Look at this. We are in the magnet zone, somewhat in the middle, in between support and resistance. But in this case, our stop is much closer by. We would, in quotes, only lose 9.63% if we get stopped out, but we could gain 14.61%. And if you do the math, if you divide this number by this number, guess what you will get? You will get 1.52. So you can see directly here in the scanner, what is my reward to risk ratio of that magnet zone trade. And then, now the kicker, you can now apply a filter. For example, only show me the trades with a reward to risk ratio greater than 1, where I can win more than I can lose. If I do this, 58 stocks are now remaining. And then, of course, you can sort from highest to lowest. You can see like this one, Radius Recycling, has the best reward to risk ratio. Whether I would trade this, it's a different question. But if you look here, this was stock had a huge gap. Not sure what happened here on March 13, but huge gap up. And ever since, it's been chilling out kind of in the middle, in between support down here and resistance. But if you place your targets below resistance and your stop loss below support, well, you get a reward to risk ratio of 1.8 something. Even though this stock is probably something I would not trade. It's been way too flat here. Oh my God, it's like zero volatility in recent history after this big gap up. All right. So this is just something I wanted to show you how you can use the magnet zone setup with the rewards to risk column to find interesting stocks. So German telecommunication. What about this one here? Outfront Media. Let's check it out. 1.46 reward to risk. Bullish for 182 trading days. Yeah. And we can see it here. Okay. All right. We just bounced off this level. A little pullback here. And again, you could speculate. All right. We may see another attempt at the resistance level on top here. If we do, we stand to gain 22%. If we get stopped out, we lose 15.04%. And of course, you can always combine this by potentially filtering by trend duration. So Arthur J. Gallagher, yeah, 1.14 reward to risk. Not too bad. If you want to re-enter into this trade, Motorola Solutions, 1.09 reward to risk. At least it's positive. A stock which has been bullish for 1,173 trading days, but once again, approaching. Oh, look at this huge move up. And I see this so many times now. After a huge move, you are in this lengthy consolidation phase. And every time we are approaching the lower end of it, this could be a really great opportunity to enter long. Even right now, with this reward to risk ratio, we stand to lose 6.5% and to gain 7.09%. It could be an interesting first attempt to perhaps scale into a long position in Motorola. All right, perfect. Let me just add some of these to our hot list, because now we're gonna, we already had this one in there, but I'm gonna also add Motorola to it. And by the way, guys, if you look at Targa Resources here, which is now in the magnet zone, you may remember we had this stock, I think last week or perhaps the week before, on our radar, where we played the bounce of this stock off its support level. And look what happened when we called it out. What a beautiful bounce off this level, exactly what we had in mind. And I believe this was also one of our trade of the weeks in our newsletter, if you remember. All right. Perfect. Let me look at some questions. We're going to get to your question, Douglas, in just a bit. Ali says hi. Hi, Ali. How are you? Now, let me go to our hot list and see which of these stocks that we have selected are the most interesting ones. So I'm going to go down here, pick our hot list. We have 10 stocks in there. Oh, boy. That's quite a lot. Let's see which are the most interesting ones. I'm going to start with our nice long bounce setups. Coca-Cola Consolidated. I still like it. I just don't know what this particular company is up to. It's definitely not the actual Coca-Cola stock. So we skipped on it last week. I think we're going to skip on it this week as well. It's just chilling out here, but I think there's potential there for a bounce. But I think we have nicer setups for this week, so I'm going to skip this one. Aflac Incorporated, long bounce 5. That means we've been near this support level for 5 trading days. We got our fill here. And yeah, I like this one. So this one I'm definitely going to add to our list. I believe we had it back in February as well. When we played one bounce, now we're going to do another bounce off this stock. So I'm definitely going to keep an eye on this one, how the market will open on Monday. All right, so adding the screenshot to it. Okay, now I'm gonna skip this German one here. Just gonna keep it in here, but I know most of you will not be able to trade this to begin with. AAON, yeah, big pullback. I'm not sure what happened here, but it lost a lot of momentum in the last couple of days, in fact, and now right at this support level. Yeah, if you want to speculate, it's really discounted now at 72. I would place my stop probably by maybe around 50 here, give this one a bit more room, and hope that this uptrend, which has been in place for 646 trading days, this is eventually going to continue. But if it goes below this swing low, I think we may lose this uptrend. But yeah, this is an interesting one too. I'm gonna add it in the expectation, just from a speculative point of view, that hey, we may see a nice bounce of it. Oops. Take this away. Add our symbol here. All right. I keep clicking the wrong symbol. There we go. Taking this one as well. Okay. I think I clicked it twice. Let me just quickly see. No, that should be good. Okay. Close. Alrighty. So also gonna skip this German one. Tanger Inc. All right. Tanger. Or you may want to spell it. Yeah. A nice retracement back to the support level. I just don't like the systematic downwards nature of this channel. So I'm going to skip it in this case. It looks a bit too much of a nice parallel downwards channel. This continues, you may see a deeper correction. So I will skip this one. Sprouts Farmers Markets. I love this one. I bought this one on Friday. I saw the setup on Friday already. I like it. A very steady uptrend. You can see it here. Very respectful of key levels. And we are now right in this support zone. It's a level 4 pullback as per trend radar, and a very steady uptrend. The stock has been trending upwards for 1,070 trading days. So definitely one to watch on Monday. Even if we see a bounce higher on Monday, I still think this is a great stock to have in your portfolio. RLI Corp. Okay, in insurance, in the insurance business, financial services. Let's have a look. A big uptrend here, huge gap which was filled. And this shows you sometimes these gap fills. Look at this one here. It can take a while until these gaps fill. That's why I said for the SPY, don't discount the possibility that we may still fill this gap to the downside. It is definitely possible. Yeah, it's been consolidating. I mean, I think it's not the cleanest, so I'm going to skip this one too. There's a good chance you may bounce off this level, but we're still a bit further away, and then we have like a real cluster of different levels here. And oftentimes, when you have such a cluster, the higher levels are not the strongest ones. It's probably this one here, which is the strongest one. So I would wait a little bit longer for this, perhaps for prices to come down a bit further for this one. Motorola Solutions. All right. Okay. Yes, this one I like. It's a nice pullback. It's a nice magnet zone. I would wait a little bit more here. I have a feeling that we will, just a second, where's my tool? There we go. We will come to this level here somehow. If we do, this could be a really nice bounce setup for Motorola, but I would wait a little bit more, maybe until we get to the 400 level, 390, 95 perhaps, and then enter long. In the expectation that we're going to go towards this resistance level and perhaps also fill this gap here, which has not been filled yet. All right. So that's that one. And Arthur J. Gallagher, of course, also a nice magnet zone. I love this stock. It's been really, really good to us. We called out a trade for the stock many, many times already. I like what I'm seeing here. Maybe it's going to come down a little bit further, and then this would be definitely, for me, another long entry of Arthur J. Gallagher. And the expectation that, yes, we're going to bounce off this level and approach one more time the resistance level above. I like it. So I'm going to add this one to our portfolio as well. All right. Good old Arthur J. Gallagher. Ugh, I keep pushing the wrong button. There we go. We just added this new button here. I guess that's why I keep confusing them. This first button here is to add a chart screenshot. This button here is to upload any image that you may have on your file system, for example, like a broker statement or something that shows you, hey, this was the actual trade I triggered with my broker, with the fills, the stops, and so forth. All right. Okay, Ali says, wow. Okay. I hope that's a positive wow, Ali. Perfect. And Nicholas, are you there? Do we have any questions that came in while you joined? I know Nicholas joined us a bit later today. He had an appointment. But do we have any questions coming in? Maybe Nicholas is not there yet. Doesn't matter. I'm going to look at the questions myself. Douglas wants to know, what do the dots mean at the bottom of trend radar? Yeah, great question. And I can explain it quickly. So these dots, actually, let me find a stock where you can scan for these dots as well. Let me do that real quick. So I'm going to add a new column here. 1 second, end of day scanner. Going to add a column for, where is it? The trends aligned column here. This one relates directly to the dots that you may see sometimes here. And let me remove a couple of the other ones so we don't, optional too. Okay, perfect. So it's this column here I just added. And let's look at something like this. Look at this stock here. Which one is it? I'm not sure. It's TCI, Transcontinental Realty Investors, Inc. What do we see here? Actually, I don't really know the stock, but I can see that recent price action has been extremely bullish. And you can see trend radar is basically completely green. Must have a really good R score of 235. Great. And we can also see that, hey, we have these dots in the lower row. These are our, what we call them, alignment dots. That's why also this column here is called trends aligned. You see this one here, trends aligned. Okay, meaning that all our trend indicators, like the short-term trend, the medium-term trend, and the long-term trend, they're all bullish. Of course, that's one condition. But secondly, they also need to be sorted. Meaning, The moving average that we use to establish the short-term trend needs to be above the moving average that we use to establish the medium-term trend, which then needs to be above the MA that we use for the long-term trends. They need to be sorted in that way. And if they are sorted, then all the trends are aligned, meaning we're very extended. So this can be a good sign. Potentially, we are a very strong trend, but I rather look at it as from a more of a warning sign. Hey, we are so extended. Prices are very expensive right now. We've been going up very quickly, so everything is sorted. There might be a pullback coming. That's like my interpretation. But yeah, you can see it how extended we are, and you can even sort by them. Look at this one here. The German stock EOS point DE, very bullish. Look at this one. Wow, what kind of stock is this? Jesus, very bullish. Look at all these alignment dots, basically going up in a straight line. And of course, you can say now, hey, had I entered here, it was still so much room left. True, but you never know. Huh? The further we are away from our MAs here, the more the likelihood is that we're going to see a pullback. So yeah, that's exactly what this particular dot means. I hope this explains it. Lenny, can I reset the default parameters? Yes. Oh, of the columns? No, you can't do this. This is that you have to do manually. For the columns, you cannot, but you can reset your chart. So let's say maybe you put some other indicators on it, whatever. You can reset the chart indicators to the defaults using this button here to our default indicators on the chart. That's possible. For the columns, you will need to do it manually. Yeah, but it should not take very long. All right. Any symbol requests, guys? Now would be the time to ask. Let's see. RBLX. Okay. Frank. RBLX Roblox Corporation. Let's see what we can see here. Let's just do some cold reading without looking at the chart. Just to see, just to train our, our understanding of what these columns mean here in the scanner. What do we see? All right. So first of course, we know exactly what the stock does. Roblox Corporation and Communication Services in gaming. Cool, we got this one. Secondly, we have a long break 22, meaning we broke above resistance 22 trading days ago. So this must be really extended and really bullish. Our macro trend is also bullish. Amy Rush shows us a bullish trend for 225 trading days. Our R score, which is our shorter term trend, is really high at 414. So I told you this ranges between like 450 and minus 450. So being positive 414, it's really bullish. And we have 13 alignment dots. Wow. Let's open it up. This must be a really, really strong trending stock. And look at this. Yeah, we could have predicted exactly this just by looking at these numbers here. Yeah. And once you train your feeling for this, your eye a little bit, you can very easily see just by looking at these numbers here what's going on without having to open every chart one by one. And that's exactly what makes the scanner so powerful. You can find the little gems in the market and the gems in the rough, the diamonds in the rough very quickly. All right. Thomas, 1OK. Yes, also a stock which I personally invested in. If it is this one here, yeah. I bought the stock. When did I buy it? I think last week. I went long this stock. This had a nice bounce set up. You can see the support level here. It's a long-term bullish stock. Now in a lengthy consolidation phase, I like the fact that we're at the lower end of this consolidation pattern, and there's a gap to be tested. If you want to test this gap, prices need to come up all the way to here. So yeah, nice bounce so far. I actually sold put options for this one, so I just collected the premium. Yeah, and hoping that with time depreciation, the puts will expire worthless and just keep the premium. All right, CPER. All right, copper copper. What's going on with copper? Let's have a look. Bullish for 91 trading days. Our score is a bit bullish, but not too much at around 0.88. Bullish pullback level 3 and 10 alignment dots. All right, let's check it out. What do we see in copper? Well, definitely bullish, and now at the lower end of this channel, we're nearing the broken resistance level here, which now is likely to act as support. We see a bounce off this level to the upside. Would I trade it? Probably not. It's a bit too messy for my taste, but my outlook would definitely be bullish, we may anticipate a bounce off this former resistance level now acting as support. KGC. KGC. All right. Kinross Gold. This must have been a good one. When did we call the gold long? It was also a couple of, maybe a month ago, which probably worked out really beautifully. Yeah, just like the GLD, we're right at this resistance level. Would I go long now? Probably not. We may see a bounce. You can also see these liquidity captures coming in, which oftentimes can be a sign that, hey, we may bounce off this resistance level like extra confirmation. Yeah, but overall, very bullish. I would wait either for a pullback if this bounce happens, ideally to perhaps this first MA rush land, then enter, or wait until we clear this resistance level. Alrighty, what else? Aubrey is saying, what? BMA. Let's check it out. What's BMA? Banco Argentina. All right. And you say it's 6% dividends. Let me just quickly see if that is confirmed. What's the dividend yield? Yeah. Nope. 27. Wow. It's a 27.68% dividend yield. But of course, take this with a grain of salt. Look at the history here. I mean, that's pretty crazy, but it may not, there's no guarantee that this dividend will continue to be paid in this kind of dimension. It has been much, much lower in the past. And I think the last dividend was actually paid a while back. So now, Aubrey, I would be careful of this one. So if you're looking for a dividend play here, look when the last dividend was paid on August 16th and nothing since then. So probably would be careful of that one. LNTH. All right. Long bounce 3. So we are near support level. MA Rush has turned bearish. All right. Okay. Yeah. I mean, it is in this kind of rangy pattern here. Wow. That's very gappy. Not, personally, not my cup of tea. It's just too gappy, too bouncy. But of course, if you want to take a shot at a long trade, I don't like the fact that MA Rush has switched over to bearish. Now would be the time of the support level. We have this up gap here too, but personally, I would not trade it. Is Roblox overbought? Okay, let's have a look.
And actually, Daniel, Lenny's question
Yeah.
Does the number beside the liquidity IQ setup, is it that the higher the number is, does that mean it's more overbought?
I mean, probably that could be interpreted like this, but it's really just the duration of the setup. So this long break happened 22 days ago. But of course, if you combine this, okay, we broke above resistance, and we can see here how my all score is 414. This is really expensive. This could be seen as overbought. I personally would just go by the R score, actually. Let's just do a quick test. Let's filter by an R score above 400. What do we have here? 28 stocks. Let's go from highest to lowest. OCA. Let's see what we. Oh, nah, this is not valid data. Yeah, Ionis Group. This is a better one. Is this overbought? Yes, 100%. I bet you can put any RSI indicator on this one. Long-term RSI will show you overbought levels. Let me just actually have a quick look. A little test case. Relative strength index. Where are we? Yeah, look where we are at 75. We were even higher before, but yeah, it is definitely overbought because look at how things went up in the past. Yeah. Okay. And you can see the maybe one more EVA Technologies 450. Yeah, really overbought. RSI is at 73. So I would rather use this score here to see stocks which are potentially overbought or oversold. Oversold, of course, you would go for the negative 400, like this one here. BCBP, for example, should be a very bearish stock. Look at this one here. Below our averages. So this, to me, is a better indication of whether we are overbought or oversold. All right. Next question. Any other questions, Nicholas? Nicholas is gone again. 1 second. Where did my questions go? Zoom. You love it and you hate it. Okay, so Lily, we already discussed. Lenny, maybe watch the recording for this one. AZN. Let's check it out. Uh, AstraZeneca, yeah. Um, Classic pharmaceutical stock. Let's see what we see here. Well, we switched to bearish here. We're approaching resistance. Again, it's not the stock that I would typically trade because it's too rangy, too bouncy. There's no clear pattern available. So I personally would go for setups where, things are pointing very clearly in one direction or the other. So I probably would stay away, but anything, maybe play the short game here, anticipate a bounce of this resistance level, if anything. All right. DGX all-time highs. All right, let's check it out. Quest Diagnostics Incorporated. All right. It did make all-time highs. Yes. We're just broke above this resistance level. Yeah. Would I enter right now? And I'm grown a bit skeptical of these zone break setups because you may, and we also had a liquidity capture here. You may see this fake out first. So zone break, then back to the level. So I would always wait for this fake out first instead of just entering on this one here. And we also had a liquidity capture, meaning, hey, we may bounce off this all-time high level. So I'll be careful with this one at least. But yeah, it definitely looks bullish to me. I'd love to see a deeper pullback and then potentially enter in the long direction. All right. Where questions are gonna get. There we go. Okay. Lenny, VRDN. All right. VRDN. Viridian Therapeutics Inc. Bearish for 68 trading days. Yeah. I personally is also a stock I would not trade. If anything, to the short side, perhaps look for a move towards this support level. We have a bearish MA rush trend, but yeah, it's probably something I would not trade. All right. RH. All right. MA rush bearish. Oscar quite bearish as well. Level 3 pullback. And this ties in with Lenny's question too. Can we have pullbacks to the bearish side as well? Yes, absolutely. You can see it here. Now we are bearish, but look at trend radar. If I zoom in a little bit here, it's a little bit bigger here. The last row actually shows us that we have 1, 2, 3 green ones, and below this everything is red. That's a level 3 pullback, but for a bearish trend, meaning we came down here and then we pulled up to this towards this level. So we went up a little bit. That's the level 3 pullback, and you could use this perhaps to now reshort this stock or time your short trades. Do you have any strategies for oversold stocks? This is a criteria we typically don't look at too often because we primarily base our strategies, Lenny, on where support and resistance is. Garrett, CHLSY. Okay, I have a feeling that this one is not in our list. I'm gonna go to Trading View. Garrett always has interesting. Oh boy, it's a yeah. I don't know this one. I think it's this. This is oh, it's the 5-minute chart. Let me quickly see if there's something better to be seen here. Let me change quickly our MA rush to the short time frame. Also, yeah, looks like a zone break to me. We broke above resistance, but it's probably a stock I personally would not trade. Maybe wait for the retrace here and then enter long. But at this level, very over extended, probably something I would not trade. All right, Etsy. Okay. Very bearish for 792 trading days. Well, we did have a bit of a pullback to the upside recently. You can see it here. We just bounced off resistance. I mean, it looks very bearish to me. This could have been a good opportunity here to short it while we are near resistance. Now we're kind of in the middle. If you still want to short it, it would definitely be with a target around the support level. Maybe just at 49, short at current levels. I personally would wait perhaps for another pullback towards this resistance level and then go short. Okay. AstraZeneca and Lilly, same consolidation pattern. I don't think so, because AstraZeneca was very bearish to me, or quite bearish, I believe at least. A quick look again, AstraZeneca. Yeah, well, bearish here, but let's see what happened before. Now it's not, to me, it's very rangy here. So it's not the same consolidation pattern as in Lilly. Lilly, we had a strong move up. If you contrast this with LLY, look at this. Lilly was a strong move up, and then we went into consolidation. But for AstraZeneca, we didn't have this strong move up. This is missing. So I think these consolidation patterns, they're kind of a bull flag kind of thing, where whenever we approach the lower end of that flag, now if this is the post here, then it would be a great opportunity to enter in the long direction. All right. Maybe a few more questions. Let's go here. Euro USD currencies. Okay. Okay, let's check it out. Euro USD. Bullish for 97 trading days, now right at resistance. Okay, let's check it out. I can see it here. Price is right at this resistance level. We did see a bit of a bounce already on Friday. Yeah, let's see what happens. Would I go long now? Probably not. Would I go short? Maybe, but then it would go against the trend. It is a bullish stock. Mirage, if I just quickly go to this one here, shows us a bullish label. I would probably not go against the trend. Would I go long now? Probably also not, because we are right at resistance at this level. Okay. GPY, pound GPY. GBP, GPY. Also at the resistance of a short bounce. Very bullish. Wow. Let's have a look here. This is a very bullish symbol. You can see it here. We came off all this big bull move now, and definitely in the consolidation pattern here, right at resistance. And let me just quickly change the 1 second. I changed the setting for our MA rush. No, this one here. Okay, perfect. Yeah. So here you can see, if you want to go back, that this stock has been bullish for a long, long time, since December 20th, December 2020. Now in this consolidation pattern, would I go against this trend? Not necessarily. I would rather wait for a pullback perhaps to this level and then potentially go into the long direction. I don't have an example. I often see MA rush indicators that show green or red. What does that mean? It just is an indication of how many of our lines have been broken in MA rush. And we can discuss this perhaps a bit more in our lunch and learn session. So you see these lines here, which come with MA rush. So if price is above them, it's greenish. If it's below them, it's reddish. That's basically what it means. There's no other meaning to that. All right. Questions are pouring in. Paul, P-A-L-L. Okay, let's check it out. Physical palladium. Oh, very bearish for 770 trading days. See a bit of a pullback lately. Yeah, but that to me is a very bearish trend. If anything, I would go to the short direction here. We just went above resistance, not pulling back a bit more. Yeah, if anything, short, but we're right next to this broken resistance level, which may now act as support. So I'll be a bit careful. STNG. STNG. Dark Scorpio Tankers. Monaco. Bearish for 129 trading days. All right. Now a pullback back to resistance here. And this could be an interesting short opportunity. Yeah, we just went down, pulled back up. Level 4 pullback as per our trend radar indicator. You can see the first 4 rows are green. The last one is red. Yeah, potential short for this one. Visa. All right. Bullish of 595 trading days. R score of 315. Probably a very bullish stock. Now pulled back with a gap. Oh, that's an interesting one. A pullback to broken resistance with a gap to get filled. I like it. That's a good one, Gerd. Thanks for pointing this one out. Yeah, look for the gap fill. I'm going to put this one into my list as well for me to remember. Thanks, Gerd, for this one. Because I like this gap here. This one screams to get filled. Let's see where the market opens. But if it opens above this level, well, in the vicinity, I think this gap is likely to get filled. WPM. Wheaton Precious Metals Corp. Bullish for 574 trading days. Long break. We just broke above resistance. Yeah. Yeah, looks definitely quite bullish. I mean, I personally prefer entering on pullbacks, not just on the zone break. So this was a nice zone break. Now we're a bit further away. Maybe we're going to see a bit of a pullback when the market opens to the 87 level and then potentially go long. Sand. All right. Sandstorm Gold. Yeah, long break. I mean, this tags, I guess, onto all these gold stocks. Very bullish. I think that's you can't go wrong with this. I see gold to go up and break resistance in the near to medium term. And if gold breaks resistance also this stock, I think it's going to benefit. So yeah, good long one. Euro USD we just did, Garrett. CVS. Maybe just a few more. CVS. Bearish for 592 trading days, short bounce. That could be an interesting one. Look at this. I have a feeling we discussed this one recently. Yeah, if you want to do it, maybe go to the short side here. Anticipate a bounce off this resistance level. Of course, it was broken here before, so not sure how strong it is. But if anything, a short trade in the anticipation that, hey, we may go down to the support level at 58. All right. Should I sell my Bitcoin? No, I would not. I personally, I'm long-term invested in Bitcoin, and I would personally hold it. But that's more from a fundamental point of view. Also from a trend point of view. I mean, gold, Bitcoin, sorry. Bitcoin is, I mean, it's bullish. Yeah, we had a zone break here. A deeper retracement, now back up again. We're just fighting with this resistance level, but to me, it's a matter of time until we break it and go to higher highs in Bitcoin. So I mean, it it depends where you got Bitcoin. If you're sitting on a fortune of Bitcoin because you bought them when they were 50 cents worth, I'd say yes, sell a few of them, ring the register. But that's not my case. I'm just, riding it out. I'm hoping for higher levels as a longer term position in Bitcoin. I don't actively trade it. I just hold it in my wallet. Okay, perfect. Back to the questions. Maybe just a few more. And Get is thinking it's going to go down to 88,000. Maybe. Who knows? We may see these bounces can be quite big. We'll see what's happening. But if we break this level, I think we're going to see much, much higher levels. But when we will break resistance, well, that can take some time. And yes, the corrections might be deeper, even as deep as 88,000 or even here, 75,000 is not completely out of the picture. And one more, HIMS, strong flag consolidation. Check it out. HIMS and Hers Health Inc. Okay, bullish for 353 trading days. Yeah, big all-time high here. Yeah, looks like a consolidation in my book. This was a big, massive move, big retracement. Would I enter now? I don't know. Maybe a bit too expensive. I'd rather wait until prices come down a bit cheaper. And then enter at least to this first Emi rush line, then hope that, hey, we're going to go towards the resistance level up here. All right. I'm not sure what you mean by this. The lowest, the green line here, these are averages calculated by our trend Emi rush indicator based on higher time frame information. It's a complex formula, but you can think of it as the fastest, medium, and slowest MA line of some sort. All right, perfect. That was fun, I think. I think we have some really interesting setups for the week ahead. Just a couple of reminders. If you don't have our ebook yet, please download it. If you like, from tradingindicators.com/power-off-3. And if you don't have access to our Liquidity View dashboard yet, check it out. You get 1 week of a free trial at tradingindicators.com/view. This link is also in the chat. All right. So with this, guys, And of course, we also have a bootcamp. This link is also in the chat. But with this, I'm going to say goodbye. If there were some questions which were forgotten, there are so many today, then please send me an email through our homepage, tradingindicators.com. Main menu, click on contact, put your question into the contact form, and it will end up directly in my inbox. And I'll do my best to answer every single question personally and as soon as I can. With this, guys, enjoy your weekend. Take some time off, and let's see what the market will do when it opens on Monday. Bye-bye.